kitchen today to show you how to make a super simple, easy, and super elegant dessert. So we're going to make a chocolate ganache tart with raspberries on top, and I promise it's easy. It looks really pretty though in the end, so you could serve it as a very fancy dessert, or you could just make it quickly if somebody was on their way over that night for dinner. The only thing is it does have to chill a little bit, so I guess it's not as fast, but it's not hard, not complicated. So I'm here how to just keep it simple and show you how to do that so you feel confident in it. We're going to start out with a rich pastry shell, and so I have this tart pan. The middle comes out like this, just for serving. Now, if you don't have something like this, you could just use a pie pan, but then it's not going to pop out. You would just cut it like a regular pie, and that's totally fine too. But since I do have this, I'm going to use this today. I have flour. If you want to gather some of these ingredients and bake along with me, then that's super fun. You're going to need flour. You're going to need 1 egg. You need a half cup of butter, or 1 stick of butter, and you're going to need salt, and I think that's all. Oh, a little bit of water or milk just to get your crust to form into a ball. So go ahead and grab those, and then we'll get back cooking together. So if you'll remember from another video that I did on pies, you can go check that one out if you need a refresher, or I'll just tell you right here too that my grandma taught my mom, who taught me, for a good pie crust, it's 1 1/2 and 1/2 and 1/2. So it's 1 1/2 cups flour, 1/2 cup of butter, and a 1/2 teaspoon salt. The thing that we're going to do to make it a little bit different today, called a rich pastry crust, is we're going to add in an egg, and then we're going to add milk for the crust. It just makes it a little bit thicker and a little bit more sturdy, I guess I would say, but you can use just a pie crust too, just a regular pie crust recipe. That would work as well. So we're going to measure out by the dipping or spooning method here. 1 1/2 cups of flour here. About 1/2. And then you want to always do your dry ingredients together first. So then the next step is your 1/2 teaspoon salt. Okay, and then I'm going to mix that completely so that they're mixed together. I do use salted butter as well, so if you're using unsalted butter, you may need to add a little bit more salt, or it might just kind of be the same. Might not matter. Okay, now we're going to take the butter. Mine is, I set it in the microwave for about 7 seconds, but you want it to be cold. I just thought for the ease of this, I would just slightly soften it, but you certainly don't want it to be melted or even room temperature, because you want to make little tiny pockets of butter in your flour mixture so that when you cook it, the little pieces of butter melt and create air holes in your pastry crust. And you want that. That's what makes it, that's what makes it flaky. And if you have a dairy intolerance, you could use ghee, or you could use coconut oil, or whatever your preference is. But then you probably wouldn't want to make this because the chocolate filling is made out of cream and chocolate, so it's not dairy free. Okay, now it's all incorporated. You can see it's in these little tiny crumb sizes here. Now I'm going to make a well in the center of it. So I'm just going to kind of move my crumbs apart here so that you can almost kind of see the bottom. And I'm going to crack my egg and put it right in the bottom. And then I'm going to take my milk, and I only want about 1 to 2 tablespoons. You can always add more, but you can't take away. And then I'm just stirring the egg and the milk together in the center, so not using the crumbs yet. Now I'm going to incorporate all of them together. And I'm kind of being gentle. I don't want to over mix this part. Okay, I mixed up and I think I used just the right amount of milk. If you feel like it's too dry and it's not really forming a ball, you'll want to add a little bit more, but I can form a ball out of this. And I mean, it's a little sticky, but I don't want it too dry where it's not sticking together, but I don't want it too wet because then it's, well, it's just gonna be a soggy mess because now we want to roll it out. Okay, so you're gonna take a little bit of flour. Make sure you can see here. I'm just gonna sprinkle this down. That, and lightly kind of coat the ball as well. Now I'm just gonna press it into a circle. Okay, kind of reflour and stick. You could use a rolling pin, but since I don't need this to be super thin, I'm just going to use my hands. Okay, now I'm going to measure it and make sure that I have the right amount of space. So when I kind of put it over, it looks like it will fit once I pick it up. So that's good. And let me show you real quick. Okay, so here's my dough. It is, I don't know, probably a 1/4 inch thick, I guess. Okay, now I'm going to gently pick this up. And put it in my pan. Okay, now that I have it in my pan, I'm going to just pinch down the edges. Okay. Oops. Okay, so here's where you have options. If you don't have pie weights, you can just use a fork. Not highly technical, but it has always served me well my whole life of cooking. So you would just take your fork and you're just going to want to stab holes in the bottom of it because you don't want your crust to shrink and then you don't have any space to put your filling because it will shrink as it cooks. It just kind of sags. I feel like you can't really see the top of my head. Hold on. Okay, is that better? That's better. All right, so as I was saying, you can stab it with a fork, and if you do, make sure you get the edges as well because you don't want the edges to shrink down. Just use my experience. It does happen. I have tried it. Now, what I haven't used before, though, are pie weights, and I have always wanted pie weights, so I went down and I bought them, and then I put them in a safe place. What happens to safe place stuff? You can never find it again, and so then I lost them, and so I haven't actually been able to use them. Now these pie weights will serve the same purpose. I can stick them in the bottom of my pastry shell, and then when it cooks, it can't shrink. You can also use rice. I've done it with rice. You can also use beans. So I'm just going to, but this is pie weight. See, we get to try this together. Isn't this fun? And you can also tell me what is your favorite thing to use because I am always open to learning. Learning tricks, hacks, all of that stuff. So, okay, I have them down. Now, since they don't fill up my shell, I don't know if you can see there, but they don't quite fill it all the way up, I'm going to go ahead and put some marks in the top. This is all going to be covered up by the chocolate anyway, so you won't see it. Just because I really don't want my crust shrinking. Okay, I'm going to stick this in my oven. I already preheated it to 400 degrees. I'm going to let it cook. I think I'll check it after about 10 minutes and see if I need to rotate it or turn it or how it's doing, because you do want to cook it fully, because you're not going to cook your ganache once you stick that in the middle. So this does need to be fully cooked and ready. So I'll just stick that in, and then I will meet you back here in about 10 minutes and see how it's looking. I'll clean up my work area while I'm waiting. Okay, I just pulled the crust out, and I did a total of 18 minutes. So I did 10 minutes and then I rotated it, and then I did another 8 minutes. You can see it's a nice golden brown here. The bottom is a little not as done, but I think it's done enough. Okay, our pie crust is cooling. Here, can you leave this here? And we are back to the cooking with Tacey portion. Tacey, can you say hi? There you go. Okay, so what we want now is 12 ounces of dark chocolate or chocolate chips. I've got chocolate chips, and I also have some of these dark chocolate Dove candies that I want to use up. So we're going to use a mixture of both, and she's having a really good time unwrapping them for me. So once we hit 12 ounces, we're going to pour 3/4 cup. I'm using half and half, but you can use cream or half and half. I'm going to use 3/4 cup of heated, just under boiling, half and half, and then I'll pour that over the chocolates. Oops, sorry, thank you. I think one more. So you're not cooking the chocolate. Again, you really don't want to cook chocolate. You can melt chocolate, but you don't want to cook it. So we're just going to pour the heated cream over the top, and then that will melt it. All right, okay, Tacey, I need you to help me. So here we have our heated cream, and we have all our chocolates. And so we're just going to pour this over the chocolate. This is hot. Once it's, ooh, nice. Okay, can you sit on your bottom for this? Good job. I'm just going to move you this way so you can stir and people can see what you're doing. This might be a little bit wild. Okay, we just can't let anything spill out. Good job. Okay, my chocolate is all nice and smooth now, and I'm going to pour it into the shell, and you kind of want to pour it quickly so that it gets that nice mirror glaze on top. All poured, and now I'm going to let it chill because you want it to completely set up so that when you slice it, it's not so liquidy. So I'll see you back in a little bit. I am back with my cooled tart, and now for the fun part. You're going to take raspberries. So I picked up some raspberries today, and you're just going to put the raspberries all around it, and then when you get close to serving it, you can sprinkle the top with powdered sugar. However, don't do that until you're just about to serve it, because powdered sugar melts, and then it just looks like the top of your cake is, or your pie is wet. So we'll save that until right before dessert, and we haven't eaten dinner yet. So I'm gonna get my fish in the oven, and my bread I just pulled out of the oven, and it didn't get a crack this time. Usually it cracks down the middle, so I'm not really sure what was different. Again, we're always on that quest for holes. If you know from other videos that I've done, that I'm always looking for the holes in my sourdough bread. We had sourdough pancakes this morning for breakfast too. They're easy. We've just really been loving sourdough starter for pretty much everything because it's a little easier on our digestion. I'm wheat sensitive, so it doesn't bother me nearly as much as if I just had regular wheat. All right, so I'm just gonna keep going here, and then I will show you when I'm all done putting them on. I just took my tart out of the fridge. It's nice and set up, and I put it on this pretty plate. And now I'm going to dust the top. Well, I'll show you first. Can you see that? Okay. And now I'm going to dust the top with powdered sugar. So I have some right here. It's all dusted, it's pretty, and it's time to eat.